Hello and welcome to another Fantasy Premier League video. My name is Steve and today we are covering captaincy for game week 3. And just to read out my team quickly for those of you without the visuals, I've got Raya in net, I've got Trent, Cancelo, Zinchenko, James and currently Castagna on the pitch sitting in defence. However, Castagna is my transfer out this week and will be replaced by Rico Henry. I'm just waiting until tomorrow to hear some team news. I'll wait till later in the week before I make that trade. I currently have 2 free transfers. In the middle of the pitch, I've got Martinelli, Salah, De Bruyne, and Luis Diaz, and Jesus up front. For my particular team, I am choosing to captain Salah this week. Liverpool are one of the most lethal high press teams. Them and Man City would be the 2 best pressing units in the Premier League. And so far, Manchester United has tried playing out of defence to detrimental effect. Could have used some more expressive words there, I'm sure, but if we continue to play that way against Liverpool, Liverpool will absolutely trounce us. And so I hope that tactics are to send the ball long, being a United supporter, but if we do decide to continue this this tactic of playing out the back, I think Liverpool will just jump on that really quickly and win the ball very high up the pitch, which will leave the likes of Salah and Diaz in on goal with a 1v1, 2v2, 2v1 or some sort of overload situation, probably a few times in the match. Liverpool also have Nunez suspended for 3 weeks, having received a red card for a headbutt in the match last week, and so we'll likely see Firmino play up front. Firmino is quite a different style of player to Nunez. Firmino is more of your player who will sit in the middle of the park, work in and around the centre backs, take both centre backs out of the game by having both of them mark him, and to get the ball to Firmino and feed in the wingers, which, considering both centre backs are usually in and around Firmino, it gives the likes of Luis Diaz and Salah out on the wings more space and less players to go past to get in on goal. My vice captain, actually before I go to the vice captain, I should talk about what's going on off the pitch at Man United. We are being linked with pretty much every single player across the globe in order to try and plug holes all over the pitch at the moment. We're hearing things like issues in training with some players having a go at Ten Hag about this, the new system that we're trying to put in. We've just been linked to Casemiro, who is looking like he is going to go and do a medical for Manchester United tomorrow, Saturday New Zealand time, Friday over in England. There's obviously a new bid for someone to try and even take over Manchester United to get the Glazers out. There's just all sorts going on at Manchester United, and so the dressing room is probably a shambles. And Liverpool love playing against Manchester United, especially Salah. He has scored so many goals against us in previous games that I do not see any reason why this will not continue this game week. The vice captaincy in my team has fallen to Jesus this week. Jesus is the man in form. He is the focal point of the Arsenal attack. He is running around causing absolute havoc against his opponents. And Bournemouth have a depleted defensive unit. Bournemouth aren't going to be able to keep Arsenal out here. I don't see it. Arsenal's just got too much firepower, too much speed, too much fluidity. And Jesus was a very close vice captaincy. He almost took the captaincy of Salah in my team this week. For those of you who are stat men or women and rely mostly on stats, Jesus' XA in game week 1 was registered at 0, which is so wrong, it's not even funny. It's just the way that the stats are calculated. Jesus put in his teammates on a few occasions. Odegaard was the glaringly obvious one, where Jesus squared the ball to Odegaard on the 6-yard box, and instead of shooting or even taking a touch and trying to shoot, Odegaard tries to play a pass which doesn't even make it to his man, and because he didn't take the shot, there is no chance registered against Jesus. He did this on a couple of occasions, and the people that he fed in just didn't take a pop shot. And so that's why the eye test is also very important. So do keep that in mind if you are relying more heavily on stats and haven't managed to see Arsenal play so far. The very close third option in my team was De Bruyne, and Man City. Any of the Man City attackers this week are a great captaincy shout against Newcastle away. I do believe that Kevin De Bruyne is a much better captaincy option than Haaland. Haaland is a great player, he is an elite finisher, but he is getting pulled at the 70-minute mark, which means he loses 25% of his game time each week, every time that happens. Now, Haaland is good enough, and Man City will create an abundance of chances before the 70-minute mark, and so Haaland will definitely have his opportunities to score. However, in that last 20 minutes of the match, that's when tired legs are on the pitch, all over the pitch, and that is when elite players should be stepping up, using their energy, using their quality to jump on those players that are fatigued and taking heavy touches, or not marking as closely as they should, or not being in the positions because they don't have the energy to get there. That's when elite players strike. And because Haaland is not there for that 20-minute period of when a whole bunch of chances could fall his way, that is why I do not think he is a viable captaincy option at this point in time. As soon as he starts getting 90 minutes on the regular and looks energetic for that last 20 minutes, that's when I would start considering him as a captaincy shout moving forward. KDB, on the other hand, is playing the full 90 and looking on the ball the whole time. He's all over the pitch, he's picking the ball up everywhere, driving forward, feeding players and causing havoc, and he is being allowed a lot more space in the first two game weeks than we are probably used to seeing, and that is because of the work that Haaland is doing up front in the new formation they're playing with a proper number 9 up there. And so Haaland is a great addition to the City team. He's a great focal point to send balls into, and clearly is someone that needs to be marked, and marked well, from any of the opponents, but it does afford a lot more time on the ball and space for those players in and around him. And with the quality of Kevin De Bruyne, he can slot a ball in, he can hit a ball from 30 odd yards. He's a magician. And so if you were tossing up between the two of them, I would still pay the extra 0.5 million to get De Bruyne into my team, downgrade Haaland to someone else at this point in time to give you another premium captaincy option moving forward. The only reason he hasn't fallen into the consideration of captaincy or voice captaincy in my team is simply because Salah and Jesus just have much better opponents to play against. Bournemouth and United are going to give up a lot more chances than Newcastle. Newcastle look like a lot more defensively sound compared to the likes of United and Bournemouth at this point in time. And even though Man City are great, I don't see them beating Newcastle by 3, 4, 5 goals. It'll probably be a 1-0, 2-0 victory. Maybe they get through to 3, who knows, but I would suspect that we will see a lot more goals in the other fixtures. And the final points of note for captaincy this week, two players that I am quite worried about that I do not have in my team, is Kane and Son, who have been very quiet in the first two game weeks. Son with an assist in game week 1 and 4 goals scored, and Kane with a solo goal in game week 2 from a header from a corner to equalise the match against Chelsea last week. Either of these guys are great options against Wolves at home this week. I do not suspect Wolves will have the defensive quality to mark Kane and Son out of the match. Kane will drop deep into midfield. He will probably be free in midfield to pick up the ball and have his pick of delivery out to the likes of Son or Kulusevski on the wings. and I think you will find a lot more options falling to Spurs this week. However, if you have the likes of Salah and Jesus in your team with a Kane and or Son, I think those two are still ahead of Kane and Son in terms of captaincy this week. However, these two Spurs boys could absolutely do the business if against Wolves. It could be 2-3, 4-0 here, 2-3, 4-1 maybe. But I would assume that Kane and Son will be assisting each other and getting in amongst the goals in this game if that is the way that the result plays out. Now that's all the captaincy options I see for game week 3. Not much more else to discuss apart from potentially a couple of outside differential options and the likes of maybe Luis Diaz at Liverpool or even Martinelli against Bournemouth if you have him in your squad. However, I don't see either of these two being a great shout as someone that's going to do better than Salah or Jesus in their respective teams. And that's it for this game week. So if you made it this far through the video, please do give the video a like. And if you want to be notified of more content coming your way, hit the big red subscribe button. It is free to hit that button, and it does help me out. I'd love for you to do it. But until next time, I hope I catch you again sometime soon. Cheers.